So can
So
you see
hope
me?
you are doing well.
Yes, yes. I'm doing good here.
Great. So on behalf of Pragna, we once again congratulate for the success that you have been uh, achieved. That's a
Thank you,
great,
Manu. Thank you.
proud moment for all the students and for the faculty and everyone.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
and I'm happy to see your best half, Shruti, also participating in the meeting.
Yeah, please let her
Yeah,
uh,
she's already.
yes, yes, yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, hello all. So hope Rahul sir don't need any more introduction. Um, please continue. I'll transfer host to Rahul sir, and he'll continue the session. So please continue, Rahul.
Yes, yes, Manu. Okay. So I think there are 44 participants here, right?
Some more people might join. There are people
Okay, okay.
more joining.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so good evening, everyone. So myself, Rahul Kumar Reddy. So I have achieved 117 rank in the Civil Services 2019 examination, and I have been associated with the Pragna Academy for the last 4 years. I've been teaching various subjects like economy, geography, even political science I've taught there. So I'm very happy to interact with the students of
Good evening,
Pragna.
sir.
Good evening, good evening. So I'll talk to you later. Let me give my introductory remarks with respect to the examination. I think there are a mix of the people who are attending this session. As Teswarup sir has said, there's a mix of students who have started preparation just now, and there are students, old students also, who are preparing for the last 2-3 years. So keeping that in mind, I'll try to make my interaction more suited to UPSC. Like I'll try to give some sort of strategies which I followed personally. It's been a long journey for me actually in UPSC preparation. I have started somewhere in 2020 when Teswarup sir was also there. He has seen me personally like all throughout these years. He has seen my success also, failures also. That's I'm very happy for all of his support and care which he has shown all these years. And Pragna is one such institute I've been associated, where I have interacted with many students, where personally also have got some help from Pragna IAS Academy because of teaching and all. Interacting with many students, got new ideas of how to present my answers. So please mute your audio so that I can continue. And actually, we are in at Labasana. We are in quarantine, room quarantine, isolation because of a mini breakout of COVID-19 positive cases. There are around 40 cases have been come out. Okay. So coming to the UPSC preparation and all, as all of you know that UPSC, this exam per se requires lots of perseverance, lots of hard work. It's not the knowledge which they are testing actually. To put my point, I will say that even the first attempt candidate getting into IAS and the last attempt candidate getting maybe getting into the list or not may not be getting into the list. If I take the years into consideration or the amount of knowledge which we acquire, knowledge is not the criteria for UPSC because we are not doing research here. It's an exam for journalists. It's an exam for administrators. It's an exam for policy makers and policy implementators. So in that perspective, I would say this exam needs clarity of thought. This exam needs clarity of thought. So let me congratulate all of you and for choosing this one of the toughest exam and one of the exam which requires not just your knowledge but the clarity of thought. So once you have coming into this exam, that means that you are a person who have some clarity of thought. That means you have a clarity of what to achieve in the next 2-3 years. What is the career which you are aiming for? So in that perspective, I would congratulate all of you for choosing this exam, and I wish all of you will come up with a very colorful or very successful results in the maybe next year or maybe 2 3 years because UPSC is more of unpredictable in nature. So don't get disheartened for the old students, especially who are attending session. Success will definitely come through, and I'm one such example of perseverance. In fact, continuing for this exam, preparing for this exam for the last 4 5 years, and in fact more than that, to be frank. But coming out with flying colors, so that needs some sort of perseverance, clarity of thought, and also some patience. And instead of saying hard work, I would say it is a smart work which is more required. Just spending hours and hours of reading and studying and trying to mugging up something does not help you achieve these results. You need some sort of smart work where you have to hit the right books, pick the right books, right standard books, which is often referred by most of the toppers, which I've seen in many sources, or the right approach is very, very important. So that's what I'm saying. I'm linking this clarity of thought with the right approach, which is required for UPSC. What is this right approach? In the initial years, when I was preparing, I have encountered that I thought of preparing for many hours, preparing for 12 hours, 13 hours a day, or even 15, 16 hours also. When my prelims was very near, I used to spend almost 15 to 16 hours. Even for mains exam, I was like burning the midnight oil and spending lots of time to read the different sources, get as many points as possible. So making lots of analysis regarding a small topic. But UPSC requires, that's what I'm saying, UPSC requires a clarity of thought. Whatever you are reading, say one source or two sources, read it thoroughly. Read it thoroughly, revise it thoroughly. So that is what is required. And my presentation will be like from the starting of the examination point of view, like how you have to be yourself before you start the preparation. Once you start preparation in a stages wise, so from prelims, mains, and personality test. So before choosing this, like you should have a clarity of thought why you are choosing this examination. That is very, very important. What is your goal? Your goal might be anything. It can be doing some social service. That's very philosophical thing, or that may not be the entire real thing also, because in hindsight we can say many people don't have that kind of perspective. It's okay because ultimately cracking this exam is very, very important. We have different motivations. That does not mean you should have only social service to crack this examination. We have different objectives, but most probably I could see most of the candidates will have their own motivations to crack this examination. So keep that motivation throughout your preparation. Whatever motivation you have, whatever objective you have, hope that objective is good enough for the society, for yourself, and for entire thing. So keep that motivation ahead. Strengthen your motivation. Try to keep yourself in a healthy mood so that you continue this preparation despite of failures. Sometimes we see like you clear prelims, you go to mains examination, you clear mains also. Maybe at the interview stage you miss by 10 marks or 15 marks, something like that. That does not mean you're not suited to this exam. That means there is something better waiting for you. So think in that perspective and try to wait for your best time. Try to give your best for this examination. Best in the sense like not the perfect. That's what I'm telling. There was a story. In fact, my roommate was also talking about that. UPSC is not about giving your not the idea of giving the best answer, not the idea of giving the best preparation. It's about improving yourself. It's about improving yourself every day, progressing yourself. Whether you are writing a good answer, better answer, best answer will never come. Remember that most of the students which have interacted, they say, "Sir, I'm waiting for the answer writing so that I can revise the things and then write the best answers." Best answers, please don't come. Don't wait for best answers. Keep start preparation, start preparing, and whatever you are like, try to know about yourself. So for example, today if I take a topic like say the Indian polity, it's not like I should do some scholarship or research in Indian polity. Taking some two textbooks at least, maybe Lakshmikant or maybe Fadia or maybe some other book which you can take, read it thoroughly, make some notes, make some crisp notes as short as possible, try to revise it. So that's what clarity of thought, a right approach, and perseverance. These are the three things which I have seen which can give you success in this examination. Now coming to the approaches, the strategy which you need to follow for different stages of the examination. So I'll talk about prelims first, then I'll talk about mains, then I'll allocate some time for personality test also, so that it will be like useful for some of the candidates who are giving their exam, maybe this year exam. So as far as prelims is concerned, make sure that you read standard books thoroughly. Standard books in the sense like NCRTs. I hope Tej Swarup sir has already given you some list of books which need to be referred by you. So apart from NCRTs, NCRTs are the core of this examination, especially for prelims point of view, especially NCRTs of history. If you see the old history books or geography, or you can say economy also. I hope Swarup sir will be talking more about these economy books, like both the books, like you have 2-3 books of economy of NCRTs, to read them thoroughly, try to get the conceptual knowledge. And if possible, make some notes of NCRTs also, especially the history ones, because I have encountered some difficulty while preparing for this history, because I have not made some notes in the first 4-5 attempts. So I made that mistake. So don't repeat that mistake. If you're reading some history books, especially NCRT histories or Tamil Nadu history books, try to make some notes of maybe say 30 pages, 40 pages, so that you can revise it as many times as possible, especially the factual things which you need to write in your answers. Because history, not only the general analysis, but also some of the examples you need to present in your answers. So especially for mains answer writing, or even in prelims also, you can see there are most of the questions coming from the factual background. For example, what is the meaning of this so and so word? What is the meaning of the ancient word? So which king has done so and so? So like this, they are giving some contextual questions which need some conceptual clarity as well as factual memorization also, to be frank. So in that perspective, you try to make some notes for history books so that you revise them as many times as possible. And one more thing, while making notes itself, try to innovate some new approaches, maybe some small diagram. For example, if you want to show the influence of Gupta rule in India, so you can draw some map and show the influence of Gupta rule, why it is called as golden age. Maybe using some hub and spoke model, you can make some notes also. For example, I can draw a circle and give various dimensions to it. One dimension I can talk about cultural, I can talk about administrative. Like this, you can make some spider diagram so that to make your preparation more easy, especially at the time of exam. So 2-3 days before exam, you can't read the books again and again, right? So you can't read entire history books again. So to memorize the things, you need to make some notes, which is easy to revise, which can be presented in mains answer writing also. So in that perspective, NCRTs are the core for many of the subjects like history, geography, and apart from that, standard books. As there is lots of list of standard books, I don't want to repeat them. Hope the Pragna Academy has given you the list of books which is important for mains as well as prelims examination. You can refer that books, but one point I want to make it clear is, don't go for too many sources. Don't go for too many sources. Stick to 1-2 sources for every subject. For example, economy, people say I need to follow Ramesh Singh, I need to follow some SKM or some so and so books. Like this, they talk about different books. It's not required actually. You follow only one book, try to make notes, try to understand it completely, and try to apply it in your prelims questions as well as mains questions. That is very, very important. And apart from these standard books, the major emphasis now UPSC is giving is on like current issues, current dynamics. For that, newspaper reading is one important aspect. Newspaper reading in the sense like not reading. When I was teaching in Pragna also, I used to interact with students. They used to say I used to read newspaper for 4-5 hours. So don't spend that much time to read paper, maybe 1 hour, 2 hour maximum. 1.5 hours is the maximum limit which you have to keep yourself. So to get what to read, what not to read in newspaper, one thing I will suggest is follow the syllabus. So by heart the syllabus. In fact, I would say remember every topic in the syllabus. In fact, for the first 40 days or maybe 2 months of your preparation, maybe today you are starting your preparation for UPSC, please ensure please ensure that you read the syllabus every day early in the early morning itself, so that you know what is given in the syllabus, so that when you are reading a newspaper you leave what is not required for the exam. What is required for the exam, you have to emphasize more on that. Try to get some important concepts, try to get some important sentences if possible, for writing your answers. Try to get some important updates for any topic. For example, US presidential election. there was a topic going on in for the last 2 3 months. Maybe next year means they may ask you what are the differences between US political system and the Indian political system. What are the differences between US president and the Indian president? Who is more powerful? Who has which kind of powers? For example, veto powers of US president or veto powers of Indian president. So you need to have that kind of interlinkages, which can be given both in prelims examination as well as mains examination. So read a newspaper not just to get update, not just to get knowledge of current issues, but also interlink them to the syllabus. So that is very very important. I would suggest you to paste some syllabus copy in your room or in your hostel or at your house, so that every day morning you just revise them. Whenever you get some doubt that which topic is important, which topic is to be left out, you get some clarity of what to read, what not to read is very very important for UPSC. Don't spend 3 4 hours for newspaper reading. That's waste of time. That's what I'm telling you. Don't spend too much time on newspaper reading. Make it very clear. Whatever source, maybe Hindu, Times of India, Live Mint. Live Mint is an excellent paper for economic issues. You can follow that. There is very good analysis of various current issues followed in Live Mint. Or Indian Express, which I personally followed for my fifth and sixth attempts, especially because I'm from political science background. I prefer to use Indian Express, especially for the editorials or explained. There is a column called as explained, which gives you that kind of analysis. Uh, so so be very clear with what you are doing. Newspaper reading, don't spend too many hours. And I would take I think Pragna is also giving you some sort of current affair material, so try to follow that. Because in fact, if you see, last 2 years I have seen there are many successful candidates who have followed some current affair materials and could get. In fact, when I was interacting with some of the toppers in this academy in Labasana, they were telling that they have not read newspapers for the last 5 6 months. They've simply followed some current affair materials, current issues. There is some magazines and all they have followed. Maybe some institute magazines or maybe for different magazines. Even Pragna is giving that magazine. So try to follow that magazine. Try to get some updates on the current issues as well as current affairs. Because especially after prelims, what will happen now? You don't get much time to read newspapers. So that's what I want to make it very clear. So newspaper reading, link it with the syllabus. Now, exclusively talking on syllabus, what I have experienced like in the last 6 7 years is generally we tend to forget some of the important topics in the syllabus, because you think that UPSC may give more questions on current affairs, current issues. You read only current affair magazines, current issues, and leave out the syllabus. But identify those topics in the syllabus which were not covered in the last 3 4 year exams. For example, I'll tell you one topic called as land reforms. Land reforms is there in the syllabus, but no question was asked in the examination in the last 6 7 years. Only in the last year prelims, they have asked one question on land reforms. But there is no question particularly asked with respect to land reforms in the last 6 7 mains. Similarly, they have not asked something about the important contributions of different regions in the Indian national movement. So like this, identify some topics which can be asked. UPSC always want to throw you some sort of bounces. So if you want to make it an easy bouncer, try to get prepared for this. Be prepared for that. Identify those concepts which were not asked in the syllabus till now. So that can be one thing. Second thing is, for every static part in the syllabus, try to make some notes, both prelims as well as mains. That's what I'm telling combinedly. So syllabus perspective, try to follow, try to make 2 3 pages of notes for every topic in the syllabus. So that's very very important. Generally, we tend to read only current issues, current affairs, try to forget the syllabus. So that is one aspect. Now, prelims is concerned as far as basic notes like NCRTs and the standard books. One thing I would prefer is, like, especially for prelims examination, practice. Practice is the only mantra. I will tell you one example. One of my friend who is working in BHEL, he was preparing, he was working in BHEL and simultaneously he's also giving this exam. He did not have a proper coaching also, but one thing what he has done is to give at least 50 tests, at least 50 tests for prelims examination. So practice is very very important for prelims examination. After reading the current affairs, after reading the basic standard books like NCRTs and standard books, the one very very important thing which you have to do for prelims examination is practice as many questions as possible. I'll tell my personal example itself. In 2019, I have done, maybe I'm an experienced guy, I have done almost 30 tests personally. And every day I used to do some 50 to 60 questions from various websites. I used to pull, even when I'm eating, I used to do some tests. So like this last 20 days, I have completely immersed myself in the prelims preparation, which has actually given me a good score around 137. So just 20 days only I have prepared, because this is my last attempt. I don't want to prepare for 3-4 months. I want to prepare only for 20-25 days. My strategy would be to practice as many questions as possible. By practicing, what will happen now? You get to encounter different current affairs, different static questions, and try to learn them. Try to learn them by answering them. Even if you don't know, try to guess it. By your conceptual knowledge, try to eliminate the options, try to guess the answer, so apply the concepts there. So like this, you tune your mind before prelims examination. Maybe first attempt, second attempt candidates do this. Maybe you can take it as a challenge. Maybe next year you would say, I would be very happy if you say that you have answered at least 60 to 70 question papers. Definitely, I'm telling you, if you practice many question papers or any test series, maybe I think Pragna will also be conducting some test series. Maybe take one more test series from market also. I'll be very frank about it. Take one more test series also. That will make you around 50 to 60 like test papers. Try to follow them. Try to revise them. Try to attempt in the first case. And you have done any mistake, try to revise them. So note down those mistakes also. What I've done is, in my last 2 attempts, whatever mistakes I've done in test series, I've not taken any particular test series, but the thing is, I used to collect question papers from the market, from different institutes, different sources. I used to take some test. If I've done some mistake, I used to write down in a book, so that last 4-5 days of my exam, like before 4-5 days, I used to revise those things. And definitely at least 5 to 10 questions will be repetitive in exam, because if you do almost 5,000 to 6,000 questions, and UPSC, even examiner will not find any other question, because they have to ultimately ask those questions only, right? So make sure that you practice as many questions as possible and try to revise your mistakes. That will definitely give you a very good mark. Even I was clearing the forest service examination for the last 3 years, because I was applying for this forest service examination in the last 3 attempts. I've cleared this forest service also, because the idea is I've practiced as many questions as possible. That's what I was telling to Pragna students in my classes as well. Practice only will give you that edge in prelims examination. Because personally, I tell that I don't know 100 questions. I know only maximum 75 to 80 questions. But how to attempt 90 to 95 questions is by practicing more. That practicing will give you that kind of the mind will get tuned to attempt those questions which are not very clear for you. Maybe you can eliminate the options. You'll use your logic. Use your concept to answer those questions. So keep this in mind and try to prepare for prelims examination. After you're done with your standard books, NCRTs, current affairs, practice as many questions as possible. And one thing I want to make it very clear is, with respect to prelims, generally students are risk aversive. They attempt 70 questions, thinking that they might have done 65 correct, 5 wrong, and they'll come back. Don't be in that mode. Sometimes luck may not be in favor. So take that risk. Risk taking is very, very important, because exam is becoming more competitive, right? Exam is becoming more competitive. You have to be more risk taking. So personally, I will say attempt at least 90 to 95 questions. Attempt at least 95 questions, and also ensure that your strike ratio is very good. Maybe some students may disagree with me. I'm okay with that. But the general tendency is, if you attempt more questions, 85 to 90 or 90 to 95, depending upon your comfortability, there is more tendency of clearing this exam. I have personally listened to the students who are preparing for the last 2-3 years, could not clear this prelims examination itself, because they say that, sir, I have studied lots of things. I am very clear about these concepts. I've attempted only 70 questions. I think I'll be clearing this exam. But at the last stage, at the end, when the result is out, they will be missing by 1-2 marks, half mark also. So don't be in that category. So if you are even at least 50% sure of any question, attempt it. Don't think it, but apply your mind. So I'm just telling it out of experience. But if you practice more, you'll also get to know that, because once you practice more, you'll get the risk-taking ability to eliminate the options, because UPSC in the last 2-3 years is becoming more of uncertain. Those who have got some rank, taken their foundation course, and then attempted the prelims examination could not clear the prelims sometimes. So this also happens. Those who are in the first attempt, in fact, I have a friend here called as Prudvi from Karnataka. He scored 140. He scored 140, and he was my trek mate in Himalayan trek. He told me that, Bhai, I have attempted 95 questions, and I have practiced many tests. The success mantra for this is practice as many tests as possible. I was inspired by him actually, because like 50 to 60 tests, how could he do? Because ultimately that shows his motivation, that shows his hard work. So prelims, don't make it complicated. And I wish Pragna also will be conducting some good test series. Follow that. I would be recommending that. And one more thing is, even if you wish like taking any test series outside, okay for me. The thing is, you have to practice as many questions as possible. So coming to the mains examination, it's a very, very important part of the examination. This is the core of the examination. The total marks which is allocated for this mains is around 1750 marks. I would say entire preparation should revolve around this mains. Entire preparation, even before you start for your prelims, the first step you have to do is to prepare for personality test as well as mains examination. Personality test is a continuous process. You keep on learning from your environment. You keep on knowing about yourself. You keep on knowing about your current issues. So that's a continuous process. You have to continue further in your mind. That's a very inherent process which should be going on. As far as mains is concerned, from the first day of your preparation onwards, always your target should be to crack this mains examination. Because personally, I have been writing all the mains, but I could clear only two mains, the fifth attempt and sixth attempt. So I'm telling you that mains is very, very important. Even if you get 140, 145 in prelims, in fact, I'll give you a personal example. 2015, I think I've got around 142 in my prelims examination, but I could not clear my mains examination. I missed by 25 marks. So I was very like hurt, because I was preparing for prelims. I was preparing for prelims for 3 months at the time, but I did not concentrate much. Even though I prepared well during that 5-6 months of gap between prelims and mains, but I could have done better in my mains examination. That's what I felt, that mains is the essence. Many of the candidates here, many of the officer trainees present in Labasana, they say they have done significant amount of practice, answer writing practice for mains answer writing. So I will tell my experience of mains examination. So every time, whenever you are reading some concept, please think that what kind of question can be asked by UPSC on this concept. So make sure always in that perspective, in that mood only. If you have that kind of perspective, you will easily frame answers. You will easily pull the content in your exams. As I said now, the US presidential system versus Indian presidential system. From a factual point of view, you may see that the how many, like what kind of presidential system there in, what kind of electoral system there in USA. That from prelims perspective. But as far as mains is concerned, they may ask a question that what kind of impact can Joe Biden makes on Indian foreign policy? What can they may ask you in interview also? Who is better, Republicans or Democrats? So what will happen? Like now Trump is gone, whether there be certainty in the international politics. So they may even ask about the differentiation between Indian president and the US president. They may ask even the differences between electoral system of India as well as USA. So think from various dimensions what kind of questions can be asked in mains examination. That should be like the basic preparation for all of you from first day onwards. Once you are having your syllabus copy, once you are preparing anything, prepare from mains perspective. Even NCRTs, for example, if you are reading Harappan civilization, if you have started ancient history, started with Harappan civilization, don't go with factual analysis. Go with the analysis, go with kind of dimensions. For example, what can we learn from Harappan civilization? Once you have read Harappan civilization 1-2 times, the immediate point is what kind of questions can be asked from this topic. For this, the proper guidance will be the previous year question papers. Previous year question papers are the key success for your key mantra for your mains preparation. Go through all the previous year question papers for the last 6-7 years from 2013 onwards, from the date on which the pattern has been changed. Try to get all those questions. If possible, try to arrange them topic wise by yourself. That is very, very important. One mistake normally people do is they generally take it from some institute or from academy or some book. Don't do that. Take all the raw question papers, try to pull them according to the topic in the syllabus. This way you can remember what kind of questions they are asking in UPSC, whether they are asking to write about Harappan civilization or whether they are asking you to tell what can we learn from Harappan civilization. So that distinction is very, very important, because generally people tend to read the factual things, but mains is more of analytical things. Even though there are some factual things, you have to need to substantiate your analysis, but mostly it is analytical. For example, this year they have asked a question like a question on mini Indias. That's a very, very interesting question which was asked in 2019 mains examination. What are the examples of mini India? Do you think India is like, if you take entire India, within India itself, you have mini Indias everywhere. For example, a shopping mall, a university, you can say, yes or no? Or maybe even in Pragna Academy, you can say there are lots of people coming from Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, even Kerala I have seen. So there are lots of people coming to the academy showcasing the culture of India, at least the South India, right? So this way you can talk about, you can see the questions and try to get in what way UPSC is asking the questions. That is very, very important. So when you are preparing certain topic, prepare accordingly, expecting what kind of questions being asked. So that is very, very important. Uh, One is the mains perspective, that is always analytical, the questions, previous year question papers. Second one is test series. Mains preparation will be incomplete without taking any test series, at least for optional per se. At least for optional per se. Even GS, if you are more motivated, if a person is more motivated and want to achieve the success, he will definitely follow some test series even without enrolling for it. That's a different case. But generally, if you want to get some direction, focus, and some kind of approach for your mains examination, try to take some test series. And generally, test series means immediately after prelims, people generally prefer to take test series. But people who are preparing for 2022 or 2023, in that perspective, they can take test series from now onwards. Even 1 year before your mains examination itself, you can take test series, attempting at least 40 question papers, 50 question papers. You get that kind of practice, so that you stick to your word limit and time limit. Because UPSC mains is all about answer writing, how you present your knowledge, how you write answers in proper structure and flow. That is very, very important. Content is important, but content alone will not give you that extra edge, because ultimately, if you score at least half a mark or 1 mark extra from every question, that will make almost how many marks difference? Almost 80 marks a difference, right? So keep in mind, apart from the basic content which you have prepared, for example, as I told, once you see the syllabus, every syllabus in every topic in the syllabus, there should be at least 2-3 pages of notes. Once you made these notes and once you enroll for the test series, try to get that structure. For example, introduction is very, very important. Conclusion. Conclusion is very, very important. So even if you miss some points, 2-3 points in your body, that's okay for me. But if you miss the conclusion, that shows you are in a hurry burry to write the answers. So don't miss the conclusion. Don't miss some positive solutions. For example, in the body, if you highlighted some problems, don't leave it there itself. Try to write some bullet points, at least highlight the some of the important solutions, maybe important schemes of government of India or any state government which you feel that they are good enough to write in answers. You can collect those kind of schemes and try to put them in your answers. So that's a very, very important point. Make your answer complete. Make your answer complete. Introduction, body, conclusion. Even conclusion can be of 2 lines only, but that is important. That will give you that kind of extra edge when compared with others. Now coming to the body part, As far as diagrams is concerned, people say you have to draw too many diagrams. Every question should be requiring some diagram. I don't agree with that kind of approach. If a question really demands something, if a question, if a question gives you some scope of drawing some flow chart, drawing some sort of diagram. For example, I will take one example for this year question paper. In paper two, there was a question talking about collaborative approach for development, the team-based approach for development, where there is a requirement of not only public sector but also private sector and civil society to come together to ensure developmental goals. The collaborative approach. There was a question on this, which was very difficult for most of us to attempt that. But for that, what I have done is I have tried to draw some diagram of a triangle, telling that public sector, private sector, and the civil society collectively can lead to development. I've drawn some three pillars on which a small triangle is standing, telling that these are the three pillars of the developmental process which is happening now in the modern good governance approach. Like this, I have taken second ARC diagrams, most of the second ARC diagrams which can be used in especially paper 2. Even if you see Kurukshetra or Yojana, especially Yojana used to give these kind of small diagrams. I was not reading complete Yojana. I just take the Yojana, just flip the pages. You get some important diagrams, especially for governance, the health sector, education sector, or lots of social sector initiatives. You get some small diagrams. Try to adapt those diagrams in your answers so that you can present your answers in a proper manner. So, answer writing is all about how you present your arguments, how you present your content in a proper structure, proper flow is very important. So in fact, why I could succeed this time is I could make such kind of differences this time. My mains marks have improved by 20 to 25 marks, which pushed me to into the list because I could make some small differences in presenting the answers, not the content per se. Content is same. Whatever I've written in fifth attempt and sixth attempt, almost the content is same. But the way I presented is a bit different. I used small diagrams and I also highlighted the key points by underlining them. So don't forget that one of my mentor used to say that if you underline, even if you don't write good points, even if you underline the important points, your score will improve by 5 to 10 marks. That's what happened, especially in my paper 2 and paper 4 ethics. This time, I underlined every important keyword. Don't underline everything in that sense. Underline some 10 to 15 keywords in your 250, 300 words. Whatever you are writing, 250 words, maybe some 10 to 15 words will be very key, telling your answer, telling your dimensions. So underline those keywords, tell to the examiner that this is the answer I've written. Because always examiner, what he will do is he will try to refer your answer second time before he awards the marks and make his task easy. Once you make his task easy, you will get that 1 mark extra, definitely. So try to appease him as much as possible. Try to make his work easy. Once you make his task easy, he will award you that half mark, 1 mark extra, ultimately, which will result into 10 to 15 marks in every paper. Ultimately pushes you into the list. So that is very important. Apart from notes, apart from notes making, which I am emphasizing again and again for every topic in the syllabus, the next key mantra for the mains answer writing is test series, proper answer writing. In fact, I will tell from my experience, I used to write every day 3 to 4 questions every day. It's not only writing some Saturday, Sunday test series. I used to write every day 3 to 4 questions. I have a very good roommate with me last time, Mithun also, who has cleared this exam. We used to have some sort of timetable. Every day in the evening, we used to write 3 to 4 questions. We used to collect questions from previous years as well as some questions which we intuitively encounter in test series or some insights or maybe some other websites. We used to take whichever question is important or good enough to be asked in UPSC. We used to take that and try to attempt those in half an hour. So depending upon the complexity of the question, 3 to 4 questions every day, at least after prelims examination. You do that thoroughly. This way you could attempt at least 300 to 400 questions on your own, apart from test series. If you take any test series, if they are conducting some 12 tests, 12 into 20, 240, and your own questions 300 will make you around 500 questions. There is a good chance of questions being asked from this kind of approach. If you follow this kind of approach Definitely some questions will be repetitive. That will boost your confidence also. That's very, very important, especially in mains examination. If you don't know some 2 3 questions, you feel disheartened, you go demotivated. To keep yourself motivated during the exam, those 2 3 questions will definitely help you to keep yourself boosted up. That you have got some question, you could attempt it in 3 4 minutes. So because paucity of time is a very, very important limitation in mains examination. So try to get those questions, try to see the syllabus, whichever questions are not covered in the last 5 6 years. That is one strategy. Practice as many questions as possible. Definitely there is a scope of repetition. For example, I'll tell you, my roommate Mithun was writing an answer on food processing, and there was a question repeated in the same year, in the this year. Similarly, he was talking about biotechnology, importance of biotechnology on agriculture. Because he was a biotechnology background, he was expecting some question on biotechnology. The same question was repeated in paper 3. So like this, if you discuss some questions every day after prelims examination, maybe 2 3 people can pull up and try to write some answers. Definitely there is a great chance of questions being repeated, which will also help you to be motivated in the examination. So answer writing is the key thing. And third thing is revision. Revision for mains answer writing is must and should. In fact, this time what we have done is, like, last 10 days of my entire mains preparation, like 100 days of mains, last 10 days we have not read anything new. Whatever we have consolidated in the last 1 year, whatever notes we have made, we have repeated those things only. Revision helps us to write what we have already studied. So that is very, very important. Revising at least 3 to 4 times of your notes is very, very important. So making notes alone will not give you good marks. You have to revise them as many times as possible. Once you revise them, what will happen even before the examination? When exam is at 8:30, 9 o'clock, we used to wake up at around 6 o'clock for half an hour. We should just flip those pages so that you can get those diagrams, you can get those flow charts, you can get the definitions. So you can get some important reports, important bullet points which I've highlighted. So this way, you revise as many times as possible. Revision will help you a lot in presenting good content. It's not just reading a good point in some newspaper. How can I use that in my answers? That's very, very important. If you have noted it down somewhere else in your notes, definitely you can use that point. These small things only will make lots of difference. So understand that small things will give you good score, because ultimately, uh, those who are in the list, those who are not in the list, the difference is very small, right? Difference is very small. So every mark, every paper, it's only 5 marks, 10 marks, but ultimately you be in the list, you may not be in the list. You be an IAS or you be an IPS. So concentrate on the small things, because the aura of this exam is like you concentrate on the bigger things. UPSC, it's a very difficult exam. It's a great exam. It's it makes you an IPS or IAS, something like that. You miss out on the smaller things. So please concentrate on those small things. That's a very, very important. Why? Because myself has taken this exam very serious, and I used to concentrate on the larger things and missed out on the smaller things, especially that presentation, underlining, revision, these small things. Once you do these small things right, that will make lots of difference in your mains marks. Instead of scoring 400, if you can score 425, 430, obviously you will be clearing this mains, as well as you'll be in the list also. The 25 30 marks, how to pull that is very, very important. So organize yourself. That is very, very important. Organizing yourself. In fact, I've talked to many people who have. In fact, my roommate is also first attempt candidate. He has organized his preparation very well. Like, he has taken 50 tests for prelims. He has written some test series for mains examination. Whatever he has done, he has revised it thoroughly. So these small things will give you lots of push, lots of motivation, lots of confidence also. So ensure that you follow these small things. Organizing yourself, making notes and revising is very, very important. And as far as the other thing is concerned, the last 10 days of mains examination, it's a make or break. Yes or no? You feel tensed, you feel under pressure. To handle that pressure, what I would suggest is, go for a evening walk with a person who is also writing mains. take one or two concepts, just discuss for 10-15 minutes, chill out for half an hour, 1 hour in the evenings. You take some time for yourself. It's not like almost 15-16 hours you prepare without taking time for yourself. It's very, very important, especially when you're preparing for mains examination. Last 10-15 days is very, very important. You have to manage yourself. You have to handle that pressure. For that, good friend is very, very important. You can have some one or two friends who are also giving mains this time. We can talk to them. We can discuss some important concepts. In fact, this time what we used to do is at 9 o'clock we used to take a break to discuss All India Radio. 9:30 there will be some spotlight, some current issues. You just used to take some topic, discuss it for 10-15 minutes. That's it, while having some dinner. So this will help you to get some perspectives. This will be very helpful for your ethics and uh, essay also. So like this, keep in that kind of mode. Don't take that pressure. Give time for yourself. Organize yourself. So that is very, very important. So if Tej Swarup sir allows me to talk about personality test, I will talk about it for 5 minutes. Otherwise, hello, I could not hear you.
Can you share your interview experience and how was what kind of questions you faced and how did you respond to that?
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, my interview preparation. Uh, in fact, I think most of you must be knowing Shruti Madam also. She helped me a lot in my interview preparation. Uh, I felt that after having like 5 mains or 6 mains, because of taking this into consideration, like knowledge is not the thing which they are testing in the interview. It's all about your confidence. That's it. Whether you answer positively, negatively, that does not matter. Confidence is the one thing they are looking in a candidate. So that is most important, and especially for the first timers, those who are going to interview, to keep yourself confident. Have that smile on your face. In fact, one of my interview mentor has said, even if you don't say answer for 2-3 questions, just smile for that. Just smile for that. They will give you marks. That's what happened this time. I mostly concentrated on my body language. I concentrated mostly on my confidence levels, knowing about myself. Whatever I have kept in my DAF, the detailed application forum, I have to be thorough with those things. That's it. And one more thing is, before filling the DAF, take some guidance of mentors. You can talk to Tej Swarup or you can talk to me also. If you are filling the DAF, fill it very carefully. Like for example, in my first interview in fifth attempt, I have given 5 hobbies. I've given 5 hobbies. Entire preparation for my personality test was revolving around these 5 hobbies, because I don't know which question they may ask. I just kept it because I don't know. Like I just want to prove that I have multiple hobbies, something in that. That is not required in UPSC. Even if you keep 2 hobbies, do give those hobbies which are very close to your heart. Then only you can answer confidently. It's not, you are not showing your multi-dimensional personality in your DAF. Make DAF as simple as possible. Whatever achievements you have, keep 1 or 2 very important achievements. If you have many hobbies, choose only 1-2 hobbies which are very close to your heart. So make your DAF simple and concentrate on every word of your DAF, detailed application form. So for example, my name is Rahul. Is there any important personality with that name? uh, how Rahul Dravid has influenced you. I said my personality, my most inspiring person is Rahul Dravid. So then he asked why. So get that kind of approach. Rahul means what? Even with your surname also, they may ask you some question. Surnames, districts. For example, they've asked me one question on YSR Kadapa district. They asked me what is the rock which is mined in Kadapa district, which is used for flooring purpose. I said it's an Naparallu, sir. In Telugu, I said it's an Naparallu. I don't know the exact version of English. It's an Naparallu which is still being used. He said whether mining is still there in Kadapa district. Yes, sir, it is there. So like this, you should be thorough with your background, with your surname, with your name, with your parents, with your district, with your educational qualifications also. For example, most of the candidates must be BTech graduates. So whichever stream you are from, just know the basics or the latest updates. For example, in my fifth attempt, they've asked me what the BHEL is doing. Sorry, what this BEL is doing, BEL, Bharat Electronics Limited. Why they've asked me this question, I don't know at that point of time, but after that, I know that BEL is engaged in making these EVMs for elections of India and all. So, like this, whichever background you are from, try to link those to the current affairs. They've asked me even about ISRO also, because I'm from electronics and communication engineering. So, get that small basics for your from your engineering background or from your graduation background. So, that is very important. Hobbies, 1 2 hobbies, be thorough with that. Don't uh, like you go there and you answer without confidence. That will tell that this person is bluffing. So don't give that kind of sense to the exam to the interviewer. That is second thing, or the next thing. And current issues, you should have your own opinions in a crisp manner. Generally, this time because of COVID times, there are lots of precautions being taken using mask, the headgear, shield, head shield, and all this face shield and all. But it was a different kind of experience this time. I have both the times I have Manasoni board, who is somewhat conservative in nature, to give some marks. But still, I could do that this time because it's all about my confidence. I practiced more on my body language. Some of the questions were on expected lines. They asked me something about teaching. Why did you teach? What is your experience of teaching and all? Why this nowadays this competitive world? What kind of teaching methods you have to follow? Then they asked me something about international relations also. The three conflicts which are there in the Indian neighborhood. Can you name those three things? And they more stressed on the decision making skill. Very, very important question they asked me is if you are a secretary of government of India, if I give you two options, one is social welfare, other is technology, which one you choose? So they asked me this straightforward question regarding decision making, whether it is social welfare or technology. I said it's technology, sir, obviously. Why? Because by using technology, I can implement social welfare. For example, DBT, all these things, artificial intelligence can be used to ensure social welfare. So the decision making has been tested by this board, and for that you need confidence, that cool headedness. So meditating will help you, yoga will help you, talking to seniors will help you, maybe talking to some of the persons who are in the service can help to ease your nerves. So this way you prepare your mind, not the content. Content will be there already in your head. Only thing is you have to get that content when it is required at the time of examination or the time of interview. So for that you need some cool headedness. So managing yourself is very, very important in interview. I had got the same Manoj Soni sir. I was smiling all the time, even though he did not give the greatest of the great marks, but still that was sufficient to get me into the list. I scored 179 this time. That was reasonably good marks for that board. So overall, it is a very nice experience of preparing for UPSC personality test. Uh, you will improve yourself. That's a very good aspect which I have encountered myself this time. When you're preparing for personality test or interview, you think about yourself, you think about your body language, you think about your perspectives, you declutter your mind. So all these are the processes which you need to go through when you're going for UPSC interview. And there are people who have scored 200 from Telugu states only. When I was talking to them, the difference I could encounter is confidence. Confidence does matter. So we'll take a separate session for that if possible. So that's it from my side. I'm opening the platform to the questions. Like if you have any questions, you can ask me one by one. I hope Swaroop sir will moderate that. Question by
Yes,
question.
yes. So those who are attending the class, so you can put it in the group chat, or you can unmute yourself and start with your questions. So to summarize in whole, this whole discussion would be very useful for the next 2 years or 3 years for the whole of your preparation until you clear your exam. So most importantly, many of the students, the biggest mistakes that they are making have been addressed, like not making notes, looking at every news or source that keeps coming. So now we are in digital social media world where everyone starts posting some question or the other, and you will get lost in that whole of information. So
Yes.
make sure you go through the limited resources and get to the point. Stay focused with your exam. So nowadays, everyone started forming some sort of group or the other, and they start thinking that they can do networking and clear the exam. So no such things are required. Like for each subject, as Rahul sir has told, one or two books, and do it multiple readings, and make sure that you clear the exam, you understand the concept, internalize the concept, and just apply it in your exam with your day-to-day current affairs. And
Yes.
many of them are missing the test. They think that they should prepare more and then give attempt, they should prepare more and then give test. That day will never come. As sir told, that day will never come. You can never make perfect answers. So what
Yes.
required is, like, you should keep practicing and just practicing. This is a everyday process. So that was all the information is extremely useful. So follow, please. I request once again, I've been requesting all of you people to do this, and again I'm saying, as we have the live example and a model to follow. Hope this session will be very useful, and students, you can start with your questions.
So my hobbies are like, with respect to one question, my hobbies are, it was traditional, like cooking Rayalaseema cuisine. That's what I do generally. And second thing is the agriculture practices, which I am learning from my brother. So I just kept that because I'm learning slow by slow. They asked me, uh, you are saying you are a person of traditional cooking like Rayalaseema cuisine, and then traditional agriculture practices. Are you a person of traditions? I said, no, sir, it's not like that. Even in traditional knowledge, there is science behind it. So I am a person with a scientific mentality. So that's why I take uh, scientific knowledge to implement my social welfare policies. So those are the hobbies which I could interlink to the governance. Uh, Swarup sir, can you read the question for me, like second question? Because I'm doing it from my mobile. So please unmute yourself.
What's your optional subject, sir? That's your
Mine
second.
is mine is political science and international relations. That's a very interesting. In fact, Swarup sir also was engaged with that. So political science is a very analytical topic. Those who are more analytical, those who are more interested in political science, international issues, current issues, and the Indian polity issues, can take that as an option because that's a very successful option in the recent times also. I'm not suggesting that. Depending on your interest, you can do that.
So the next question from Prashant: in the personality test, uh, did they ask you the question, why did you choose IAS, and what was your reply?
Because it's a more diverse, it gives you more diverse opportunities. Like you can work in agriculture, you can work for rural development, you can work for policy implementation, policy making in economy. I can get lots of social issues, lots of policy issues. So it's a very diverse platform which help you to uh, showcase your talent, showcase your skills also, and it's very challenging as well. So you can answer in your own ways. They didn't ask me this. Oh my God. Prashant was asking what major role PSAR will play in getting your cadre. Optional is a very, very crucial aspect. In fact, the triangle of this exam is the optional, ethics, and essay. If you are getting very good marks in this, ethics 130, 140, essay is 140. Optional is, this time it is somewhere near 270, 280. People who have scored 260 also, 250 also, they were in the list because there were lots of scaling factor happening this time. But generally, if I can say, around 300 plus will be a very, very good score for optional. Optional will decide your rank. So you have to spend lots of time, lots of efforts on optional as well.
So the next question: how did you face the failures and keep motivated for the next attempt? How did you stay with it?
Yes, that's a very, very good question. In fact, I am very lucky to have that kind of friends, family, that seniors like Swarup sir. My wife, Shruti, like you must be knowing her through the world history classes. So they played a very, very important role. In fact, I have lots of friends who are preparing for this exam. So we were motivating ourselves constantly that
Sir,
because that's the most important thing. And second thing is from my first attempt to last attempt, I am constantly improving in my marks. So first attempt I missed my interview by 140 marks, and the fourth attempt I missed by 25 marks, and fifth attempt I could go to the exam. I go to the interview. I missed the list by 4 marks. So that was a constant motivation. I am giving my effort. I am giving my best, at least the best effort at that point of time, constantly improving my marks. That kept me motivated that one day if I can give uh, all my energy and best things together, things will work out. That's what happened in 2019. All the papers went well. Even my personality test, even though it was not great but good enough. So we should be very patient enough that if you are keeping right efforts in the right direction, one day or the other, result will be definitely out. So that is self motivation, and even the family and friends motivated me a lot.
So
Yeah.
one thing that again people make mistake is not to stay with right associations.
Yes.
So everywhere in the coaching or everywhere you get very good people and you get people who completely lose you from the right track. Make you will be lost if you have such associations. Make
Yes.
sure again you have a very good associations so that you will keep motivated and you will be to your goal.
Yes.
So that's what Rahul sir has did it. So hope everyone else
sir,
followed it.
Rahul sir,
Yes. Yes. Who is that?
sir, my name is Pratap Reddy. Hello,
Pratap. Yes. Yeah. Please tell me, Pratap.
sir. Sir, how many times did you went to interview?
So you are asking me how many times you went, like I went to the interview, right?
Hello,
Yeah, Pratap.
Yeah,
So
maybe
if
something around that, the same.
yeah,
sir.
yes, yes. This is my last attempt and second interview.
Sir, how many attempts did you give?
6 attempts. This is my sixth and last attempt. All the attempts have been giving my mains examination. Fifth attempt I went to interview. Sixth attempt I could clear this exam.
So which website
Sir,
you
my
follow?
question is about.
Please, you can type your question in the chat box.
Hello,
Which websites you refer?
Which websites?
Yes, that's the next question.
Yes, 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 yes. Uh, like websites means I generally dependent on like last year, like the last means I was more I spent more on this Rajya Sabha TV, more on YouTube channel. Rajya Sabha TV helped me a lot, especially that big picture helped me to get some content for various concepts which I did not have adequate confidence. I have not watched every episode, but which episode which helps me. Like for example, if I don't have much content on, say, pornography, child pornography, there was a video on that. So I try to make some points out of that video. Similarly, BRICS Summit. If there is any BRICS Summit, the experts used to come there and give their own perspectives. So like this, whichever topic, if I feel like it will be useful for mains examination, which I am lacking some content points, I would watch those kind of videos, especially the Rajya Sabha TV big picture. Second thing is Rajya Sabha TV is the India's world for my political science helped me a lot. Most of the Indian foreign policy, current updates, uh, I got a very good content, very good analysis from that. And PIB for my prelims examination. Last 3 4 months, like for example, if exam is in June, I used to take the notes of PIB from March, April, May. last 3 months, especially for the factual things, because there are some questions which are being asked on the trends. For example, fiscal deficit, for example, GST collections, for example, any scheme and all. So like this, PIB also helped me to get those facts, schemes of Government of India, but not entire year, but the last 3 months before the examination.
So any other questions? I think we are running out of our time. 1 hour has been done for the session.
We can take last question, sir.
Yeah.
Hi,
Let's
sir. Prashant. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to
Prashant.
know, handling job and getting prepared for UPSC, what was your mentality in terms of the initial days of your preparation? Because, as you had to go a long way. So how did you manage your mentality, your time, handling both job and getting prepared for this competitive exam?
Prashant, I was like, actually, I was not working anywhere. After my third attempt, I was engaging with Pragya Institute only because it was in the civil services preparation. So I was in this field itself. I was not working anywhere else. So I'm not the right person to answer that actually, because I was not doing any private job, any job which is not related to UPSC. All my last 3-4 years was constantly engaging into UPSC preparation, either teaching to the people or preparing myself. So I'm not the right person, but to give that perspective, you can when you are working and preparing for this examination, you need very strict timetable for that. One thing is you should be motivated yourself so that you stick to the timetable. Maybe at least 2 hours you should allocate time for this preparation, because if you read only Saturday, Sunday and leave the other days, that is not going to work out. So that is one thing. You should be more motivated and also make some timetable so that you complete the syllabus. So that is very, very important. Don't read the current affairs, too many emphasis on newspapers and all. Don't do that. In the initial days, maybe at least 5-6 months of your preparation, try to cover the topics in the syllabus. So that will be like my advice for the people who are working. Actually, what they will do is they will read the newspaper for the 2-3 hours, do anywhere. Try to concentrate on the syllabus first. Try to make some notes from various sources, maybe 2-3 sources, or even from internet also you can pull some points. Try to make some notes so that whatever effort you are keeping when you are working should be consolidated. So that is very, very important. And once you are done, like you feel that you can clear prelims or you want to give prelims for this year, maybe take 2-3 months of leave before prelims and try to prepare for the prelims. Go for the standard books like NCRTs and the standard books. So this way you could consolidate your preparation. Once you are clear the prelims, and there is no choice but to take a long leave and prepare for mains examination, because preparing mains examination needs dedicated focus for at least 80 to 100 days. So plan accordingly, but when you are working as of now, concentrate on the syllabus and try to read newspapers thinking that done, I am doing my preparation. That will not help you in long term perspective. So if you are preparing for 2022, start from the syllabus. So that is my advice for you. I'm not a very right person to advise how to manage your time, because if you are motivated, it will come to you naturally. Maybe you can talk to some right person for that. Thank you.
So maybe
Thank you,
I
sir.
would like to add a point to the
Yes, sir. Yes,
job
sir.
management. So look at your job. If it is so stressful, then you should think about whether you should continue with job and preparation or not, because it seriously affects your confidence. If you are okay with the work culture that you are going through, uh, and if you are able to find time, that will be a good added point, because as Rahul sir was also trying to say, that continuous 13 hours preparation, 15 hours preparation may not be even required. And if
Yes.
your work life is good and balanced, and take out good amount of time from that and start preparing, and when you are so confident, as sir was telling, then you can take really a break of 2 months or so, maybe medical leave or unpaid leave or something, before your exam, and give your best prelims attempt. And after the prelims attempt, if you're confident of it, then you can actually think about resigning the job and preparing for mains. So hope that
Yeah,
helpful.
Yes, yes.
Thank
One
you.
point I forgot to mention with respect to ethics paper. Ethics paper, I forgot to talk about the strategy. 2, 3 sentences I would add here. I would want to add here is all the concepts in the ethics syllabus. Try to make some definitions and examples. Standard definitions from standard books or from internet also. There are lots of sources like standard, like for example, you have some universities giving some good content on ethics. So try to refer the definitions and try to get the definitions, make some notes, and also give some day-to-day examples of your personal life as well as from the lives of celebrities, the important personalities, as well as from current issues. So get the examples from different facets of life and try to include 1, 2 examples in your mains answer writing, especially with respect to ethics paper. That will help to improve your score. And case studies also, if possible, those who are writing mains examination, if time permits, I will definitely take some session, maybe half an hour, 1 hour, especially for essay and ethics, because this is the success, very very important for your success, especially essay and ethics. And as far as essay is concerned, uh, with respect to content is important, but more than content, it's the structure and flow in your essay which is more important. So don't try to write a general studies answer there in the essay. Try it's a general essay which should be written in a proper flow, proper structure. So keep that in mind. Don't draw too many diagrams also in essay. So that is suggested. Don't write point wise also. That is very very important. Try to write short paragraphs with a positive conclusion always. Always show that you are a positive person. Give some concrete solutions. So that way you can improve your essay and ethics score. Yeah. So please unmute yourself.
So, Rahul, on behalf of all the students, we once again congratulate and
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
all the best.
Thank you. Like
So,
I'm very happy to interact with the Pragna students. Actually, I
so
feel this
this
is
is
my alma mater, and in fact, I got my wife also. Like we are both from Pragna. That's very very important. Like very happy for me, and I think Shruti can also give you lots of important inputs. She's also into this preparation. You can talk to her freely. She can guide you. In fact, better than me in some aspects, especially with respect to optional history part. She's very good at geography part, science and technology. You can take her inputs and you can get. I think I'll wish all the students uh, all the best and try to give your best. It's not like best thing